We're live. Hi, welcome to Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and today I'm here with photographer Joshua Jay Steele. Please welcome back Joshua Jay Steele. How you doing, Beb?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Yes, I am good. As we were saying, I was talking to him before. I'm like, so many things are changing, and like, it's all for the good. Nothing's like bad is happening. Like, I will say, even like at work, like, sometimes I do things and I'm like, because I answer phones for a living. I'm like, can I just tell people the truth? Like, I really don't care about being fired. Like, can I just like go tell these people the truth? They're like, no, you can't tell them that. I'm like, why?
Hmm, that part.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, one of the people like, so I work for an internet company and they lost their internet and they weren't going to be able to get it fixed for 2 days. I'm like, should I just tell them to go home? Like, honestly, yeah, there's that shit. So yes, I am, as many of my fans know, I haven't said this publicly because I am actually going to Detroit, which I'm so excited about. I'm going to Detroit next week. So it's like, for me, it's like it's actually happening. Because I thought about it for so long that, like, now that's actually happening. I'm like, I have one of those, like, seriously? Like, but as we said, I'm nervous, but I'm also excited. Like,
And nervous is an okay thing. It just
yeah,
means you're
yeah,
excited. If
yeah.
you weren't nervous, you might be in. It might be a bad thing. You might be overconfident, or you may not care. And so that's a good thing. You care.
Yes, there's something about, well, I mean, this is probably something that you can relate to. It's like taking the plunge and like believing in yourself and doing things independently. Because I've said on here many times before, if a record label comes, great. I'd rather do everything myself because it's like, I guess this is the control freak side of me. It's like, the minute, especially with my album I've written that I'm releasing, hopefully by the end of this year, fingers crossed. Um, I put so much of myself into it that to have to hand off that project and give it to somebody and just have them like water down what my life is would seem kind of sad.
I mean, yeah. It's. I mean,
Yeah,
there was a
yeah,
time I had a another photography business not doing anything what I'm doing now, and I had
yeah.
someone talk about being an investor, and I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I like the idea of now someone has a say in what you do. So I get that.
Because it's like you literally, at this way, you choose the models you want. Like, you basically get to work with amazing people, and I'd arguably say, like, I've seen it myself. It's like you get to give a chance to give people a spotlight, at least in my view, where it's like
Mhm.
I literally have done in some ways what somebody pointed out was somebody I talked to about doing this, which we're working on times and stuff. That I had a goal of, let's see if this lasted a month or maybe 2 months when I started out. I'm now here over a year later. As I was pointing out to him, this is now my 110th interview. So it's like you never know who you're going to meet, and do you fall in love with everybody afterwards? No. Do I fall in love with genuine people? Absolutely. Am I sometimes proven wrong? Then seeing that people are fake? Of course. You just, for me, none of this has ever been artifice. My career has never been artifice, which again, crazy because I'm talking to you in a wig. But it's like, it's been so much of having to fight, at least for me, having to fight the like dumbing down standard versus just simplifying things,
Mhm.
which is a constant battle. And like, people aren't going to understand what you do as a performer, as any sort of like entertainer, photographer. There are people who probably see what Jay does and say there's no art in that. And it's like you don't know because you're not there. And you're not there, you're not in here. So it's like, you just because you can't see what he sees doesn't mean that what his vision is, your vision is invalid. And as we were talking about, where it's like, I love your vision, which is why when I do like my album cover, when I do all this, I wouldn't want to work with anyone other than you. Because it's like, I've seen, I mean, granted, I get followed by studios all the time, but it's like, or not all the time, but I've gotten followed by studios, but it's like, why would I do that when, first of all, your vision is great. Second of all, I'm going to ask you, have you ever done somebody's album cover before?
Yeah, I've
Uh,
done. Ugh, I've been doing album covers since I started. I don't know how. I don't know if this is a segue for us. I don't know if this is like a question, like a talking point, or if this is a very straightforward question. But yes, I have done
that is a
pictures.
straightforward question. I was just curious.
Yeah, I have done pictures for. I have done pictures for album covers.
Work. And it's like, someone, especially with like the black, I'm going to give away some of my idea now. I'm not going to tell entirely, but I'm thinking like, especially the rawness of the album, would be like black and white with like blood red, like
Mhm.
somehow like dripping off of me, and like, or
Right.
like me holding like a bloody knife.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I have. And when people start telling me stuff, I already have a vision. I like. I can.
yeah,
And I know what kind of. Like, okay, this is. I have ideas. Um, but yeah, but it'll happen
yeah,
when the time is
yeah.
right. It will happen.
It'll happen. I'm eventually well. First of all, I have to get the studio. Like, that's literally, because I always say like, step one is writing and producing the beats. That part is done. That part's been done for months now. Step two is me getting to Detroit and getting in the studio,
Well, you're. I
and
mean,
then
you're going
I'm
to
going.
Detroit.
I'm going to Detroit, which will make step two. And if I have enough money, I'll go in the studio as soon as I can. Um, so yes. So okay, let's get into this. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit and then we're gonna go forward. So teaching in a Christian school for 13 years, was there at any point that you felt that you were hiding who you truly are?
So yes, but okay. So let me. My experience was this. I prior part of the journey for me was accepting that someone is born gay. Like it is just that's who you are. There's not like
Right.
and the teaching I had was that being gay was a choice and that you choose to be gay or you choose actions that are gay, I guess.
Right.
Um, and so I in that world I felt like I was hiding sin, if that makes sense, but I wasn't gay. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Um, it's like,
I'm trying to follow along. Keep going.
yeah, you're
Like,
fine. Okay, so I'm gonna maybe I put being gay the same as like lying. Does that make sense? So like I can
Yeah.
not.
Okay. Yeah.
So like for me, it was like I am Josh and Josh lies. That's a sin. I am Josh. Josh is gay, and that's a sin. And so like I was just hiding sin, if that makes sense. So like I never felt
Right.
so there was shame just in general. In general.
Right. I mean, I can kind of get that because it's like I always tell people the like first vision of what eventually became to be the Prince Electro Diamond you see in front of you. I had visions starting at the age of 15. And it's like stuff just started
I mean,
brewing in my head. And then, like, once I was 21 and I first started performing, I was even too afraid because, as I always say, I got started in straight bars. Like, it's not like I was starting out in like the clubs where all the girls are working, where everyone was there snapping for me. No, I had to prove to these fucking bros that I had talent.
I mean,
And
I genuinely believe that I was doing the best I could to be in
right,
line with the Christian worldview that I was taught. So I felt like I was being a sincere, true believer, but I could just never get past that. So it was like, I mean, I wasn't like, oh, I wasn't teaching Bible class and then like going out to the bar and hooking up or anything. I just knew deep down I was gay, I guess. But I denied it. Like I knew I was attracted to men, but I was never could put my finger on how to rationalize it. And I just, oh, that's not real.
yeah. I mean, that's why with so many of us, I mean, granted, you came out at 34, I came out at 18, but even when I came out at 18 and I said I was bi, I knew I wasn't bi, but that was like my like
Testing the
quote,
waters.
well, no, not even that's my like quote unquote safe way of coming out of the closet. And again, as we pointed out last time, I came out as bi and got locked in a behavioral clinic. So like, I mean, clearly it didn't help. Like they just didn't. And I remember having this conversation with somebody who's like a like youth like leader talking about bisexuality, and remember her telling me the words of it's fine as long as you don't act on it,
And that's
which
and that is what eventually the church as a whole, that's what they would talk about. They said it was, the way they look at it is you are tempted to take action on your things, but like at the core, at your core being, you're gay. Like
mhm,
at your core, like it's not you can't just pray it away.
right.
And I think that and that's hard. That's a hard thing for people because you want in the church, it's, well, my conditioning is, it's, I want to please and I cannot change this thing that's to my core. Like I can change, I grew up in a church where if you wore the right things and if you went to the right places and if you did the
Right.
right things, and that's, I did all those things, but I could not change this one thing, and that's what drove me nuts. Not nuts, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's also with that, what I have to say, even like if let's just say for some reason, I mean, I'm agnostic, so this would never happen, but it's like if I had some crazy thing of like, ooh, I wanted to go back to church. My friends are go-go dancers, strippers, porn stars, and like all this shit. None of what they would want me to be is acceptable. And listen, this is why when I made a post about like wanting to create the House of Electro Diamond. It's literally not just a thing for me to like get people and like have quote unquote drag children. It's like I want to give back to, at least in my view, to community that took a chance on me. Because especially in the beginning, when I was on season 2, when I first started interviewing people, who the hell was Prince Electro Diamond? Like, I was some bitch who had gotten rejected from this area because I refused to lip sync. And still refuse to lip sync. If you want me, I'm coming to perform live, bitches. I'm coming with a microphone in my hands. Don't try me. Like, but it's also, it's like, I love that in like the closed mindedness of you can't do this, you have to do this. Versus in Detroit, I've already said, as we point out, prop each other up. Like, prop each other up. I love one of the queens that I love is somebody I'm friends with. Her name's Whitney Naomi. She's actually friends with somebody who Jay knows named Derek Thomas, who like, that's, I want to prop this woman up. She's fucking talented. Like, what is with this like thing of animosity? And again, why I'm running more towards Detroit, it's like, that's not there. They'll welcome me in. I'm not trying to take some other person's spot. I'm trying to create my own. Like I believe in tipping people. This is what I will say to all the people out there. Do not go into a bar with performers without money. And if you do, for some reason you don't have the money, right, work, got it, understood. If you're not filming them and tagging them, you have to do one of those two things to get into the bar. Or if you're like me, you feel you have to do both, which is what I try and do. But it's like, it's not that hard, especially, you might not. I see people with 600 followers and I have over 1,000. It's like, why wouldn't I want to help you or like give you a video that you can like post with and then another club can come and get you? It seems like we all come together collectively for the whole coming out experience. But the moment we're like, we've come out, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's everybody split off in their own directions. But we were all just united. Now, to me, it's as is pointed out, it's crazy. But people are gonna do what people do.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd love to change people. I'd love to be like, that's why I'm pretty much have been the person who's like, why have I had to have 8,000 conversations with people about not grabbing a dancer's dick or like trying to stick your finger in their ass? Like, I don't know why we still have to have these conversations, but I feel like with every dancer I have to bring up this point because people don't stop.
It's entitlement.
That's absolutely what it is. And it's like, yeah, it's entitlement, and it's, you own people. It's like, my thing is just like, I had somebody say that like dancers sometimes feel like they're the hierarchy. They might be not be the hierarchy, but neither are you for giving them money. Like, you're just a person who they see as a dollar sign. And if you're lucky, you have the kind of relationship that I have with them, which is you're there for them. You'll do anything. This is me. This is one thing I will say, and then we'll go to the next question. I am that person who like, and I did this in Orlando, like, baby, if you don't have a place to stay, come stay on my couch so you get on your feet. Like, that's just who I am. We'll figure it out. Like, I always like to point out this hypocrisy when I tell that to people and they're like, "You took in people? That's dangerous." I'm like, "Aren't you a Christian? Isn't that what Jesus would have done? And you're sitting here judging me for it? Who's the good person in this scenario?" Because I feel like it's me and not you.
Who's the good person in the scenario? I think that's good. I think I like that tag.
Yeah. Because I remember telling people, it's like, yeah, it's dangerous. It's like, I went to rebel and I loved the rebellious nature. I have a rebellious nature. As I say, I'm a Cancer, but I like my 3 signs is like I'm Cancer, but I'm double Pisces. My Cancer is like the calm side, and like my double Pisces is the one that gets me in trouble. Like,
I'm a
where I
double
just
Pisces
run.
too.
You are? Work.
I'm a double Pisces with a Virgo rising though.
Yes. Because that's the side where it's like, keep running. Keep running your mouth. Listen, if I didn't run my mouth, I wouldn't be an artist. Anyway, so, okay. Oh, here we go. So what, well, I know we talked about this off camera, but what made you want to start an OnlyFans?
Honestly, it was just money. Because I was producing the work, I was producing the content, and I had gone to the Grabby Awards. I met some more amazing content creators, and I was like, I'm producing the content,
Right.
and there's a lot of images that I take for content creators that they're sharing on their own site, their paywalls, and they it's not that I shouldn't, I just didn't have it set up, and so
Right.
it was really just like we're just wanting money. It's like, look, this is only and honestly, Instagram is so um, picky on what we can post as creators. Anyways, I was like, at least like I can kind of keep it more conservative on Instagram and just tease that way. So, um, like, really, the big thing was money. Just I'm already doing the work. Why not?
And yes, and I will say with this in terms of Instagram, I'm just going to say this. The only reason, at least in my view, the only reason you're not getting away with it is because you're excluding when you shoot drag queens, is because you're shooting guys. Like,
Yeah.
if you were shooting the same kind of content with women, there'd be nothing. You'd be allowed to post it all day. You'd be allowed to even go even further
It's
than what you're going.
honestly though, there's a it's that, but also I think if you get to a certain level with the
Yeah.
followers, then you get away with more. So it's very that. It's very just, you know what? Fine. Fine. Have it your way.
Which it's a shame because it's like there will be some people who would love to see that stuff, but again, can't see that stuff because they don't have the money to. Well, actually, wait. I'm gonna act like I saw this. I know that you have an OnlyFans. I didn't look. So, like, how much is it per month?
I mean,
Yeah.
I just said for $9.99.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not that bad, but it's like some people don't have it, and it's like you have people like me where it's like I subscribe to certain people for a month, and this is why I give out that thing where it's like this is your month now,
Yeah.
because as I pointed out before,
I mean, that's what I do with
the
that's what I do with Netflix and Hulu.
yeah,
You get it?
my thing with that is as I point out to people, if I subscribe to every person who's been on here who has an OnlyFans, I'd be broke. Like I'd have no
Yes,
money
that's right.
because I'm all about in like uh I will say this: some people it ain't worth it. I'm not gonna say who because Usually I only subscribe to my friends, and I don't want my friends to know what I actually think. I love all of your work. I love all of your work. I'll talk to you in private. Um, but it's like,
I mean, I'm in a very like I just started. I think it's been barely a month. So I'm very much in a space of like I needed to give time. I'm very
right,
thankful for the people. Right now is just trying to put out content. I know it's going to be a roller coaster, but it'll get there.
right. And actually, this goes into my next point. Are there any models that you've worked with that wouldn't let you feature them on your OnlyFans?
Um, s- could you say that like could you rephrase that just because I want to make sure I understand the
Okay,
question.
right. Got it. So, okay, I'll put it in a simpler way. So, have you worked with anybody and when you're like, you have your pictures, obviously, that you know that you could post to Instagram and you have no problem, and you go to post whatever you can't to OnlyFans, and they're like, no,
Oh,
I don't want you
well,
to.
I will say I've learned a lot over time. Um, I will also say consent is sexy.
Right.
Um, Releases are important for a reason. It's giving me
Okay.
permission to because it's work. Like
Yeah.
I've had people like message me wanting to model for me, and I'm like, "Do you have con?" Like I'm probably getting ready to make a policy. I'm not quite sure what that's going to look like soon, but where you have to have some kind of content site for me to work with you in a collaborative effort. Like if you're just wanting pictures, like there was a time that I would do portfolio stuff, which was fine, but I'm past that now. I am. My work is
Right.
what good. Um, there are people now. The real question is: are there people that I've worked with that I would not post their pictures because I don't want to post their pictures? Yes, there are people like that. There are people that I have worked with who I didn't have a good experience, and you know what? I don't want to. I don't need the pictures. I don't want the
Right.
pictures. Um, are there people? And honestly, if there's people that wouldn't let me post, I probably already know that, so I don't even think anything of it.
Well,
Does that
okay.
make?
Right. I'm gonna explain why I asked this question to begin with, because like as I was writing this, what came into my head is I'm just thinking, and I'm not saying that these models have said this to you. I'm just using people as examples because it's like when you've worked with people like Evan West, Prince Joshua, Taylor Sin, like people like that. At least my thought process with that is, why would they want to post to yours when they could take those pictures and post them on their own and get their own money? That's what.
Well, it's collaborative, so we're both posting the same images.
That's a good point. I didn't think that far. Um,
So like that's the thing with the collaboration. It is like like I communicate. Like we're communicating. Like have you posted this? I'm posting this, and that's where like those releases come in are really important. It's where you know this person is releasing this, this person is doing that. So yeah, I don't worry too much about it.
and see, I will say this because, like, obviously, I am talking about working with Jay. I'm just going to point this out to you now. I'm very easy to work with. Literally, I'm just going to give an example. My drag sister she wanted to do like my makeup full done out. Like, I'll send you those pictures, but it's like full done out. And she's like, she originally had me block out 8 hours because she thought it was going to take 8 hours. I did it in three because, like, we were able to do it in three because I'm like, I don't like to. Well, first of all, A, I'm professional. You tell me to be somewhere at a certain time, I'm going to show up. Like, I'm going to show up on time. And it's like, at least for me, when she was like doing stuff, I mean, like, granted, some of it was foreign because, like, she had done eyes and like contouring stuff that I don't do because she's like, I always think of my nose as not being that big, but she's like, your nose is too big. We have to contour because usually with this, my nose starts there. Like, if I contour this, I'm gonna look like Michael Jackson, like before he died. Like, that's love you, Michael. That's not the way I want to look. But it's like, and then we did stuff and like, and she was having to teach because and then she wanted me to do like videos and stuff, which was nice. Although she had to like, I will admit, as a performer, I'm not really feminine when I perform, but I think that goes back to like having Michael Jackson and all that. So it's like I'm very herky jerky, and she had to like be like, no, you need to do this, and like it was hard. I did struggle a little bit. Eventually, it paid off because like we got some good stuff. She's gonna release that. As I said, she hasn't since February. All I've seen is the pictures. So she gets. I told her she gets one more shot before I move away because she wants to do it again. I'm like, great. I have no problem. I can sit there and like try and be respectful. If something shady comes out of my mouth, that's just what happens. Is because I'm one of those people. She had to tell me stuff when we were like after we got done filming. She's like, "But you said this." I'm like, "I did." I'm so used to talking so fast. I'm like, did I really say that? Like, I'm like, I love you. Like, I didn't mean it the way that it came out, but like, yeah, I definitely have sometimes I have foot and mouth disease. But where's I going with this? Give me a second. I'll get to my point. Fuck. I don't know. I'll start a new one then, because like, okay, ooh, here's one. So, would you ever consider stepping in front of the camera for doing your OnlyFans?
Hmm. Short answer is yes. I mean, would I consider it? Sure, I'd consider a lot of things. Will it happen? Will it happen soon? Just depends on how life goes and how, you know. I mean,
Because you want to do it right. You want if you want to put out something,
I
you
know me.
want.
I know I want to make sure if I ever do it, I'm in the right headspace to do it. I'm in a safe environment.
Right.
Um, and I want to make sure that I'm doing it because I chose to do it and not because I'm feeding someone. There's some, I'll say this. I mean, I've been, actually, my hand has been, I mean, I've got kind of hands on in some of the pictures, even. There's some POV stuff. Um, like, my hand's been in it. Like, there's just some really hot stuff there put out there. And I have people that follow me that want to see more of me. It's not out of the question, but it's going to be on my terms, and I
Right.
will not I will not be pressured into making because some guy wants to get off to me. No, ma'am. That is not what I'm doing. I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I'm feeling pressure and some guy's like, "Come on, baby, show it to me." I'm like, "Hell no." Like, that's a block anyways. I don't take crap from people.
Right. And I mean, first of all, there's nothing wrong with not taking crap from people. And it's also when you objectify yourself, at least what I've noticed in my experience from having done it.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that everyone will feel this way. When I've done it, it's felt empty and it's like you feel used. And
I I think that's the same kind of thing. Like what like
yeah,
I want to be in control and in the right headspace. And I think people think that because they pay $9.99, they have access to my entire life, and they don't. They don't. I
right.
think I treat it as a job. My employer, you are paying me for a certain access to my life. That's what you have access to. You don't own me. Like cue Leslie Gore. That's you. You are. Is very transactional. You are paying for this. I am giving you this.
It's why, first of all, I get that because it's like, why whenever people like rarely have, I mean, granted, a few of the guests have seen me like outside of drag, like showing up to places because I've just recently gotten like comfortable with doing that. But it's for me, it's like the reason why you see some drag queens without their without their drag makeup and they show their boy photos and all that. It's like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this to be arrogant. I'm saying this because it's like I had to get to a point to where I felt this, where it's like you see all this. I'm not ugly underneath all this. Am I the hottest person ever? No, but like I'm not ugly and under all of this. My thing with that is I feel most comfortable being a performer, being this, because in some ways, like all performers, I like being the center of attention. Like
Yeah, I mean,
we all do. Like
but I mean,
yeah,
I'm that way with my friends though. Like,
yeah,
have boundaries are important, and setting boundaries for ourselves and others matter. And for me, it's really important that I establish healthy boundaries for myself, which include and are not limited to like this is you are paying me for this, I will give you this.
right,
You can ask, but a no is a complete sentence. So like I'm not and some people have a really hard time like I about like I'm just being honest. And so yeah. But that yeah, the question was would I be in am I open to being in front of the camera? Yes, I am.
yes. I was going somewhere. Yes, yes. So being in front of the camera, it's like, is there a day where, well, I mean, as we pointed out, like I already I already did it for my drag sister, like I did all this stuff and I already kind of exposed my face to the world. So it's like, in some ways now it's like, but I had to think about that a lot because it's like once I let everything out and let people see the real me, there's no going back in, theoretically.
I get it.
And like, but with that, it's also like scary because I have said some crazy things, crazy things that I would not be able to say without Prince Electro Diamond. Like, the crazy stories, because it's like, they're my stories to tell, and I'm glad that I do tell them. Oh, wait, circle back around. I remember what my point was. Okay. It's about feeling attractive out of drag. See, I know I have a way to segue back. It's like, listen, as I was talking about with him before, I was at the bar with like a bunch of go-go dancers, and somebody came up to me and like, I'm used to being ignored, invisible. And somebody said, "Hey, my friend's too nervous, but he's really into you." And I'm like, me? That's what I had in my mind. I'm like, that was like one of those things because I literally a few hours before that. And this is one thing. This is one story that I will say. And to most of the audience out there, you will not get this lucky, theoretically. So just for $1, I remember like I had a dancer with me. I literally gave him $1 and just like I felt and touched like I do because I'm respectful. And all of a sudden he just started like grinding on me. And he was starting to grind on me till I got hard. And I'm thinking, like, I didn't expect all this for $1. I mean, granted, I'm clearly into you, but it's like that thing. And you need those kinds of moments where it's like to boost your self-confidence. Because I mean, granted, I know you probably have a secureness in yourself, but like some days, I haven't written this down. Some days, and you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, it's gotta be hard a little bit. Some days when you're constantly surrounded by some of the hottest guys ever, not to feel insecure about yourself. Is that a fair statement?
All the time. I mean, it's just the truth.
Right.
I think there's my part of my journey. At one point, I had lost like 90 pounds. It's not that way anymore.
Right.
From my worst, I guess I'll say worst, from my heaviest. I mean, right now I'm still 50 pounds lighter. I'm trying to lose about 20. I'm around it a lot. I will also say, though, the people I'm around are some of the most genuine people, and they are some of my ride or dies. And I've
Right.
learned that everyone has their own insecurities. I also know this, and I've learning this recently. These are content creators that we see that are, like you say, some of the most gorgeous people around.
Right.
They are kind of like Ken in the Barbie movie. Like their job is,
Yes.
and not to demean them in this way, but their job is to ensure that they're making money. And right now, that means they need to look a certain aesthetic because they want people want to see all that, you know. And there are
Right.
different body shapes that people want to see, but for them, it's like obtaining and maintaining that level of fitness or aesthetic because they found that that's profitable for them. And so they make the time to do those things. And what I am finding out on my own is, okay, what do I have time for? And
Right.
there are some things that we have time for, and there's some things that we don't. And also, right, okay, so I can't go to the gym twice a day and run a mile or whatever. Um, because I'm doing this, this, and this, and that's my life experiences, and I'm creating a different kind of depth. So when I date and when I meet people, I go in realizing they are doing like my job is to the time I spent going and training and learning photography and making sure I understand lighting better. Those experience that takes time, and it takes time to have a body or to have to
Right.
keep at a certain level. So, um, yes, I do get insecure. I do. There have been times I'm like, you, me. Um, I've had those moments, and I continue to get those moments. And then there's some moments that I'm like, you. And I also, how do I say this without sounding arrogant? Ugh, who cares? I get hit on by people that I'm like not interested in at all. Um, and they have a hard time saying like taking a no as well. So you know what I'm saying? Like there's always going to
Right.
be someone quote unquote hotter than you.
Yeah.
I've tried to remind myself that a friend of mine said this long time ago to me, and it's stuck with me. You don't have to fuck yourself.
Right.
You don't have to find yourself hot. Um, there are going to be people that are going to be attracted to you that you it's like me and just despite all my insecurities, I find my confidence um, showing up in spaces as these are also real people too, and they're used to being kind of a body because they are fun to look at. They're nice
Yeah.
to look at, but like they're a real person, and I want to see the real person. So I try to treat everyone like that in general. Like you're a real person. How can I make you feel seen?
Right. And I mean, yeah, you're a real person. And also, this is what I have to say. It's the hot people. It's like, yes, granted, love you. Do it. Amazing. It's great that you've always had security in yourself. My thing with that is I tell people I wouldn't be the strong performer that I am today had I not felt ugly and insecure about myself in the past. And with that, I say, despite the fact that the Ozempic era is very much alive in Hollywood and people are just constantly injecting themselves with shit that people need to live, you're going to be more than that. You're going to definitely be more than that. It's like you have to get to the point, especially like if you're not like the person that everyone's attracted to. You have to say the fact it's like, I'm a bigger bitch. I've always been a bigger bitch. And there's nothing wrong with that because somebody will fuck you. Somebody will fuck you. Somebody will you fuck them. Like you're gonna you're gonna find somebody, and if you're the one not hooking up with people all the time, listen, take that as a blessing. Instead of trying to be like the one who's constantly like, granted, I love hooking up as much as the next person. Don't get me wrong. I love having sex here, but it's like work on your brain. Work on your brain because like at some point, those people that like Jay takes photos of all the time. Eventually, they're going to grow out of favor. And if they haven't worked on themselves when they get quote unquote old, they're going to be like washed up, and there's going to be nothing for them to do because they put all of their onus on their looks instead of trying to find something within. And with it looking within, at least for me, that's how I got through my pain. That's why, like, through the songwriting and through the writing the album, all that, it forced me to look in. And when I looked in and I saw the stuff I wanted to finally purge out and say, you will no longer own me because of this moment, like, writing the song Rape and, like, writing the experience of being raped, it doesn't own me anymore. Now I own it. Yeah. And it's free, it's raw, it's real. And with any hope, you try and break the cycle of any of the traumatic shit that's happened in your life by putting it into your art. And if you don't have art, somebody has to keep the therapist in business. It's not going to be me. So yeah, just talk to someone. Yeah, just talk to someone. Yes. That's my advice. Okay, so what do you usually look for when you're looking for someone to come in for a photo shoot?
Honestly, where I'm at this stage is people want to work with me. The biggest problem
Right.
I have is location because Louisville, Kentucky is not a hub. So it's just not. So right now I'm looking at when do people come into town? Is there an opportunity to collaborate? Is there an opportunity to go? So I don't really have I know that's like a really wishy-washy answer. There's not. I will say, like, in terms of like people, I say, "Ooh, would I want to work with this person?" Do I get an aura of them like they seem like they're a genuine person? Do they put out good vibes? Like those things.
Right.
But
And
like
I
in terms of
mean,
like, I don't have like a checklist or anything.
okay.
That's a horrible.
In this, no. In this, there is someone I've talked to you about. I've talked about on here before, which is like, I'm gonna do all that I can, and I'm gonna keep on mentioning this to this person. As we pointed out, the Ricky Roman Jay Steele collaboration, I'm gonna keep on working to make sure that happens. Because I think he'd be like, because this is the thing, like, not only is Ricky Roman hot, like,
I feel like I need to make sure I need to make sure I'm thinking of the right person. Keep talking.
yeah, but it's like you're following him, so that way, like,
I'm sure I am.
yeah. So it's like in that, Ricky's not only a hot guy, he's an extremely sweet person. He's literally one of the sweetest people I've had on here. And like,
Oh yeah, he's hot.
there, yes, yes, love you, babe. It's like there are, because this is the thing, like, in terms of people, even in terms of people you don't know about, baby, I could give you a list, like, of people who, like, I'll give you one of the like crazier examples of like an idea that you could prop in. So my friend that I went down to Fort Lauderdale to see, who's from Orlando, his name is Justify, and like he's like a go-go dancer, stripper, but like he's also a witch, like that has like it's like tatted up, extremely fucking hot, like does like the eyeliner and all that. And I'm thinking like, and is also a drag queen, so it'd be like that'd be one of those things where you could have like, I just came up with this idea a while ago, and I will, again, anyone I mention I will definitely send you. It's like, I think it'd be so cool for you to like have the like male aesthetic and then like have like the eyeliner and then all of a sudden like see like the transformation of somebody into a drag queen. And like
100%.
yeah. Cause yeah, there's literally so well. This is my thing. Clearly I know a lot of people, like as we pointed out, and there's so much, I mean, of great people. I mean, like let's put it this way. I mean, Jay doesn't know this. I'm gonna tell him now. A lot of times when I see somebody new on your page, especially if I'm into them, that's when I try and book them. So if you ever like look at somebody and I ask them about Jay, it's like, who is it? It's like, why I booked Taylor Sin. I found Taylor because of you. Like, I found Dalton Riley because of you. And it's like, so I do very much. If somebody's on rosters of people, I usually try and look for
It's
them.
very interesting that you bring that up, and this has nothing to do with you.
Right.
But I'm learning that that's kind of happening a lot, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it it's been very interesting. I get to work with some really great people
Right.
because I network and I try, and it's good networking. I think there's also a balance about being respectful, and this is not you, so know
Right.
this. This is not totally. I think
Yeah.
people believe that because I know someone, they get to know them too, and it's kind of like I have a friend who is really good friends with a celebrity. I know that's really vague, but I'm also trying to like,
You're trying to keep it anonymous. I get you.
yeah. But like my friend, I know knows this other person. Okay,
Right.
it's not my place to say, "Hey, I want an introduction." Like if there's an opportunity, yeah. Um, I just think it's very I think it's really. I think it goes back to that entitlement. Like
Yes.
I will introduce people, but also like breathe. Like they're people too, and like following people because we all do it. We all see who's tagged. I will follow the photographer if I see a model that I've worked with, or I'm like, I want to see the
Right.
photographer and see if I find a photographer I like. It's good stuff. That's not a bad thing.
Right.
Not. But I just also think like being mindful of like this person has a life. Just because you follow them, or they allow or whatever does not give you access to a lot of areas of their life.
I've First of all, I get that. Literally.
And that wasn't you. That wasn't about you at all. Because
No. I mean, well, because
it's professionalism.
it's professionalism, and at least my view whenever I get somebody or like I'm trying to get somebody. First of all, I don't have that sense of entitlement because let's put it this way. If it didn't happen in the music industry, it definitely happened when I started doing this. Believe me, I get rejected and quote unquote rejected, meaning I see that you've seen
Yeah.
the message that
Mhm.
I'm asking you to come on here and you're just not responding to me. With that, it's like I have very simple rules. Like I get that respecting boundaries. You tell me no, I'll go away. Like you tell me no, I'll go away. You tell me not now, hit me up again. I'll wait a month. I'll wait 2 months and I'll be like, come back in. But in terms of she said that entitlement to people, like, let's get real. Life is not an auction. Not everyone is up for sale. And like, if you feel that a certain model, photographer, um, model, photographer, dancer, whatever, performer, Instagram, whatever, blah, 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 influencer, all this. It's like, if you think that when you're starting out, you have some sorts of entitlement, I have news for you, baby. You ain't going to be in this industry long. Like, it's that simple. You're not entitled to anything, and you have to work. Sometimes you gotta, and I mean, like, probably even Jay knows is trying to get people to photograph with him. Sometimes you gotta hit people up 5, 6, 7 times before they give
Well,
you that.
yeah.
They give you that. Here's my email. Here's my phone number. Whatever.
Like there's people
Call me, text me.
that I'm gonna work with. It just hasn't worked out. I just know it. I'm speaking in a I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm not quite sure where I was going with that thought.
No, well, first of all, I know what I'm talking about is also from an entertainment perspective. Sometimes you will meet somebody and sometimes you will be like, oh, we shared this magical experience. And they may have no idea who the fuck you are. And the reason is I'm going to give us an excuse over here. I meet a lot of people, unless you're like somewhat famous or like famous or you've been on like TV or whatever. If I don't remember meeting you, it's not an offensive thing.
Right.
I meet a lot of people. I'm bad with names. Like,
Oh yeah, there's a guy I see there's this guy I see him at the bar all the time. I act like I know him and I can't remember his name at all. Like I don't know him. I don't remember talking to him. I don't remember having a conversation with this guy. But we talk. It's like, hey, how are you? I'm good. And I walk away like, who is that? And then I like no recollection. No recollection of this person at all.
it's because well, I'm not gonna say this. I'm gonna say a lot of people. Like some people, if you're in a large enough space, they meet thousands of people. Some people meet hundreds of people. Some people meet 20 people a night. It's like the secret is, it's like, if you're attractive enough, I'll probably remember you. But it's like, if you're just like one of the like normies, like as people say. Which, by the way, no offense to normal people. We need normal people. Keep on living. Not everyone should be entertainers, even in this TikTok generation. I need to. No, you don't. But I want to be famous. No, you don't. Like, stay back. It's like, some of us need to be. Some of y'all need to be audience members. Some of us need to be on the stage.
That's the
And
truth.
I mean, it's so. It's so true. It's very much. A lot of that comes to, like, I say, like, the reality TV style of things, where it's like everyone wants 15 minutes. It's like, I'd rather have the small amount of stuff that I have for the rest of my life than be big and blow up and shoot up and have 15 minutes. Because once those 15 minutes are done, I gotta go join y'all down here back in the observing area. No, thank you. Yes. So, okay. Okay. So, do you play music videos? Or, sorry, do you play music on shoots? And if so, who are some of your go-to artists to play when you're.
Okay, so for like if I'm trying to set a mood, especially like for the guys, if I'm trying to create like for them to kind of get in that headspace of like I feel sexy, I actually like lo-fi music. It's so I have a Spotify playlist. It's a lo-fi. It's study music, and it's just like really nice and ambient. Um, I find like with drag, I try to match the music to the vibe of what they're looking for.
Right.
So there's also like there's a RuPaul's Drag Race like playlist of all their lip sync songs. I'll throw that on there sometimes just because it's usually like music all of us gay people know. And it's usually like bops or something like that to kind of get them. But as far as artists,
Yeah.
I mean, this wasn't the question, but I'm just gonna say, like, my favorite music artists to listen to lately are I can always fuck with some Pussycat Dolls. Um,
Yes.
Pussycat Dolls house all the time. Um, I like me say Ariana.
Yes.
Um, I like Britney. I like Britney a lot. I just kind of go with the flow. But if I'm like
Right.
picking something randomly, Pussycat Dolls is probably where I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'd say that. I also like Dua Lipa a lot.
Yes.
I like Sweetest Pie.
Yes. I love all those artists too. And when we eventually shoot, we'll probably end up playing my music just because I'm a
Which is
narcissist and I love.
yeah,
Yes.
which is very much the vibe. Like
Right.
that's what we would want to do.
Yeah.
The music needs to match the experience. Like if someone's trying to be sexy, I want to play sexy music. If someone's trying to be high energy, like rocking, I want something like Kiss or like something a little heavy metal, like something a little
Right.
bit more high energy.
Right.
And you can't. I feel like you can always go right playing some '80s music. So there's that.
Yes. And then actually, I think I know the answer because I think you briefly mentioned this. So, would you ever consider filming a music video for somebody?
Oh, I love video production. So something that I've started to do is on my website, I'm actually charging now for production as well as creative direction or being a creative director for projects. Um, I've realized that photography is a tool and it's good, but I really need to like compartmentalize like what I'm actually doing on a photo shoot. So like if someone was like, "Hey, I want a music video. I want you to produce it." I'm like, "Work. Let's do it." And so like for me, and that can be collaborative. Like that is
Right.
okay, this is the song, I need you to produce it. This is what I want, make it happen. Or is it like this is a song, what's your thoughts? And then I kind of like run with it like creatively, you know? So like short answer is yes.
Right. I will say this to my album that I've written. I do have music video ideas. I show them to my best friend. And like I think they're amazing. Am I probably gonna have the money to do them after I'm done recording? Probably not. But like if I could do maybe one would be great. Like
I like videos. I
yeah,
like doing
yeah.
videos.
And it's like I guess it's more like it's kind of like a generational thing because everyone's obsessed with TikTok and 15-second like
Mhm.
short like videos. I'm like, baby, if I got a 7-minute idea, I got a 7-minute idea. And
Yeah.
it's like, and if you don't have the attention span to pay attention to that, grow one. It's like that's why like that's my biggest struggle with TikTok and why like I said why I love this album so much. There are 3.5 minute, 4.5 minute, 5 minute songs
Yeah.
on this album, and like there are no 2 minute songs, like because that's not my thing. And like I always tell people, it's like it's kind of why I've started to like hate modern music because it's like I'm listening and I'm like, it's not long enough. I'm like, where's the rest of the song? Like we're midway through the song and it's like over. Yes. Definitely. I have opinions about stuff. I have lots and lots of opinions about stuff. And as I always say, keep it going. Keep your opinions real. Also, don't be afraid to tell the truth. Like that's the one thing that I'll like end towards. Don't be afraid to tell the truth. Don't be afraid to tell your truth. If you hate something, say you hate something. If you love something, say you love something. This thing of being afraid to offend people, this is the entertainment industry. People need to hear real stuff. And if they're not hearing real stuff, you're going to set them up for failure. And when you set them up for failure, they're going to be even more upset if you would have been like, and as I say, it's like, if you don't go with the, listen, you can't do this, somebody needs their dick sucked in the back, get to work. Like, it's a little brash, but it's a little fucking true. Like,
Yeah.
yes. All right. Anyway, with that being said, it's a pleasure as always
Always a pleasure.
having you on. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And we'll definitely keep in touch. And with that being said, this is Gay Out the City. I'm your host, Prince Electro Diamond, and I hope you've enjoyed.